Good evening, everybody. All right, tonight we get a lot of requests. I mean, I get emails every single day of how do you scan or what's the best scanning softwares. And so tonight we have the pleasure of having Jeff Gibby with us with Metastock because he and I have worked together for quite a few years now, setting up all the signals and patterns for their software so that even if you're in the learning process, not even in the learning process. If you're just looking to cut your time scanning every night, um, that, uh, that their software, which I highly recommend for a couple reasons, because it's probably the most comprehensive charting service that you will come across. Number one, number two, they've probably got what I would consider the best customer service. That if you have any problems, they are more than helpful to make sure you get things right. So what I'm going to do right now is just kind of look through to say, all right, if we're scanning, what are we looking for? Obviously, we're looking for the best trades. Now, that's all of a function, too, that we want to see what the market is doing. As we can see right now in this market, we've got a wave one, a wave two, wave three. Even though the market backed off today, we're still trading up above the T-line. Now, is there some profit taking come into place? That's kind of the analysis that we want to be able to do. Notice what's happened in the NASDAQ over the uh, last X number of months. Moves up for 4 or 5 weeks, trades off. Moves up, trades off. Moves up, trades off. Now we're kind of in that choppy area. So the analysis should be, are we still heading up? It looks like it. We're still haven't closed below the T-line. But what's that make for portfolio implication? That probably right now you want to be not only looking for long positions, but short positions in the portfolio. So through the years, Jeff and I have kind of developed, I just gave them the signals. They were the one that developed it, of the scans to look for bullish and bearish patterns. I've got a couple out of place. I'm just going to show a couple right now that I scanned tonight for sell signals. And there's net T's, a hanging man, gap down with stochastics in the overbought area. We can see in the past that we can scan for the kicker signal in NVIDIA. And if you observe the obvious, where did the uptrend end? At the bearish engulfing signal. Came back up again. Where did the uptrend end? Bearish engulfing signal. So what should we be scanning for right now? Well, we're still scanning for maybe some long and short positions. NVIDIA still has a good prospect of going short, with maybe this being your next target to the downside or even further back down to the 200. So because of the visual capabilities that we have with candlesticks, we can formulate how to do our scans. So not that we can't identify them. That's not how I want to say it. It's not so much so that we can identify the scans. It's so that the scans that we're looking for can be done instantly. We don't have to hunt through them. So in a matter of minutes each afternoon, we can find the best long and short positions. So we've got things set up to where you can find the best friend signal. That was what we saw today in Abercrombie Fitch. Hammer, Doji, gap up. That's our best friend. Belt hold signals. Those have very strong implications if you've wiped out all the sellers. So let's see. Let me flip back since I clicked too quickly. We know that once we wiped out all the sellers, the belt hold is very simple. It opens well below the trading range, comes back into the trading range. What did this imply? It implied they took out all the sellers and the bulls sopped them up, so there's no sellers in the way. Nice strong uptrend. So we're looking for not only the bullish engulfing signal or the left-right combo, but the belt hold bullish engulfing signal left-right combo. This gives us a supply of stocks to definitely put on our what I call my bucket list, so that I have a bunch of good trade setups that I can go back and analyze. But I don't want to spend all evening hunting for these signals and patterns. That's why they're already, why is it called a belt hold? Because the Japanese race traders say the two sumo wrestlers are fighting. One's trying to back out of the ring. The other one grabs his belt and pulls them back in. And they're back to fighting again. Let's see. Here's a, oops, I did skip it here. Here's our big bullish engulfing signal, an XON today. In a situation where closed right on the 50, positive open tomorrow makes this a very strong buy because you got a big bullish engulfing signal, and a positive open would tell me they are confirming the bullish engulfing signal and not resisting at the 50 anymore. Or a big bullish engulfing signal with a booster. What did that tell us? That told us they were selling off, then all of a sudden there's a dramatic change of investor sentiment creating a buy signal with that acting like a booster rocket, giving you that much more power heading to the upside. So I'm looking for anything that I can scan for, like our inverted hammer. For those of you that are in the room quite often, you know what we do, because one of the 12 major signals is the inverted hammer. And unofficially, because we've never done or nobody's been able to do a statistical study of it, but I would say that 95% of the time or better, if you have an inverted hammer and they open it, especially if they gap it open the next day, the probabilities, again, are probably 95% or better that you're going to be in an uptrend. So if we can analyze that they've gapped it up through this resistance level, and we're in wave 3, we can pretty much calculate that wave 3 is going to have the same magnitude as wave 1. So even if you have missed this move and saw this move, you already know what your price movement is likely to be. Was there a sell signal in the video, or is it likely to move up if there is a positive open tomorrow? No, I would suspect, let's see, go back to the NVIDIA chart. I would suspect, again, this is where we use, notice we've had a strong sell signal. They just can't get it back up. And then we had that doji gap down. And where did it gap down? It gapped down through the 50. And this is what we've been illustrating in the chat room. But there is a difference between a bullish signal, like a kicker signal, and a non-signal. Just stay right here. Even though it opened lower and came back up, it wasn't a signal. That's called, I think, what they call an in-neck signal. That doesn't show that there's been a reversal. That just tells you that's probably just some short covering. So if it's not a signal, it's probably telling you there's going to be some buying. But as soon as it gets to the first resistance level, start watching to see if they resist, which they did, which tells us that NVIDIA is still in a downtrend. Where's our likely target? Again, it could be here, it could be here. So now I forgot where I was. So bullish engulfing signal. So now you can analyze. I've got a big bullish engulfing belt hold, left-right combo with bullish confirmation. Now I can make a decision. And that strength, if it goes through this level, I can be buying. So what I don't want to be doing at the end of the day is spending most of my time scanning or going through trying to find the best signals. That's all done now because of the scans already set up, especially in Metastock, where we've, I forget, Jeff will know the number, we probably did 18 or so of the best signals. So the bigger the signal, the more likely there's going to be bullish confirmation. I'm sorry, what was that, Jeff? Okay. Again, there's a bullish engulf. Jeff, are you saying something?
I think it was 21.
21, okay. So, again, when I'm scanning, I want to find the best signals fast because I want to spend most of my time finding where the good charts are and then evaluating which ones of those charts are going to be the best trades for the next day. So if I see my inverted hammer followed by a gap up through a resistance level, that scan will tell me I've got a high probability I'm in wave 3. If I've got a kicker signal, that's what I'm looking for, because we know the kicker signal is one of your strongest candlestick signals. How are these scans formulated? For one day or a series of days? Usually for one day, but that's what you're looking for, because once you find the signal and you see what type of pattern, this is what is our alert, is the signal. You know what to expect after a kicker signal, a strong up move. And a lot of times the signals will illustrate what pattern it may have come out of. Is this chart 6 months? It doesn't matter. You can make the chart whatever time frame you want. So if you want to see if there's a resistance level way over here somewhere, you can expand this chart out as far. I just am looking at this situation right here. So because I'm pretty hard of seeing, I want to make my charts pretty big to see what type of signals I'm looking at. So we are looking for the patterns, like the scoop pattern, because we know what the results are coming out of a scoop pattern. Again, I don't want to be spending all day looking for the patterns. I want to have the scans having them right there for me where I can analyze which ones to go after. Carol, that's already done. That's what Jeff is going to show you. Is you don't have to search for a scoop. You just go through your scoop pattern. And it doesn't matter whether you're looking for bullish pattern scan or you're looking for sell signal scans. So right now, just real quick, bearish engulfing signal on GBT. We're to close right here on the T line. So what's my prognosis tomorrow? Well, if we see it's opening lower tomorrow, confirming the bearish engulfing and that the T line is not going to hold, yeah, you can go short. So let's see, is there a link to buy his books? Oh, CE, it's on the website. Go to products and services up at the top. So with that, I'm not going to take too much more time because I want Jeff to come on, because their MetaStock software, which I highly recommend because it's very easy to use. You've got more chart information than most charts. There's some that you don't get futures. You've got everything on MetaStock. So Scott, that is what you will be finding out. So, well, options, Jeff, have nothing to do with the charts. Options are just a method for you to buy what you're looking at the charts. So, is the software online, updated frequently, or just in a package? Carol, these are all questions. That's why we have Jeff here. So with that, I'm going to close out my charts, and so that you can talk option strategies, which is confusing to people in the main room that are still learning how to just trade off the stocks. Daniel, yes, and I highly recommend it also. So with that, it's a great pleasure to have Jeff Gibby, one of my good friends, back here with us. Jeff?
Okay, can you hear me good? Or can you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you good.
All right.
Good to have you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks, Scott. I know you've been using MetaStock for a long time. I know you very, very well. Daniel, thanks for using MetaStock. We have a pretty good room here today. And I just want to, if you guys already use MetaStock, will you just say so in the chat room? I'm kind of curious to know how many MetaStock users that we've got here in the classroom. Stanton, thanks for using MetaStock. All right, cool. Well, welcome. As you guys are saying yes and that kind of stuff, I'll just kind of introduce myself a little bit. My name is Jeff Gibby. I work for a company called Metastock. And you guys will have, you'll find this kind of a little bit interesting, but at the end of this very month, I think it's March 31st, if I'm not mistaken, I will have put in 20 years at Metastock. Pretty crazy, right? So, oh, Randy, that's great. Hopefully today will be a little bit helpful for you. Anyway, so I started in the first 10 years I worked actually in inside sales, which means if you called and you had questions about Metastock, you'd be likely to talk to me. I'd ask you about what you're trading and what your goals were and your objectives. And for about the last 10 years or so, I've worked in kind of various positions in the business development department, and now I'm in charge of it. And it's been a very, very enjoyable job. I do all kinds of stuff. I do a lot of these webinars. And one of the things I most enjoy doing is I most enjoy working with people like Steve. And I am very, very grateful for Steve because I use his product all the time. It's been extremely helpful. It's been an extremely popular product. He underplays it a little bit when he says that we did all the work. I remember hours and hours and hours spent with him and William in a little conference room trying to figure out kind of the best way to get the exact right fry pan bottom patterns and that kind of stuff. He did a really, really good job with it. But personally, I love the product that I'm going to show you. It's one of my favorites of the ones that we've designed. And it's one that I use very, very regularly, almost every day in the marketplace. It's won multiple awards in stocks and commodities. They grade all of the plugins. Readers say which ones they like the most. It's won multiple times best software, best add-on for any software. And I'm just really, really proud of the product. I love to talk about it. I love to show it. Got several things I'm going to show you that it does. And anyway, I'm kind of rambling. So let's get on to the most important part of the day. Today's demonstration is designed to instruct you on using Metastock and the accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Metastock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. Take a little sip of that coffee. Fabian asked a question. Does Metastock work on a Mac? It does, but it requires a Windows environment. We recommend Boot Camp and a later version of Windows, and as long as you meet those, we do have a lot of customers that use Mac. Okay, awesome. So, and if you guys have questions as we come through, or as you come through, or as we go through this stuff, please feel free to ask. I'll try and kind of answer them to the best of my ability. To give you an idea, there are already questions coming through about Metastock. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what that does. I'm going to let you look at this little list of the patterns that we identify in the product while I talk about it. So in case you're not familiar with Metastock, Metastock is a broker-independent software program. It's been rated #1 in its price category, again, by the readers of Stocks and Commodities magazine every single year since 1992. We're not going to really kind of talk a lot about Metastock today, but it has been rated. It's a very well-established product, and people buy it for really kind of our core power tools. Our core power tools, we're going to be talking a lot about scanning today and how scanning works. Obviously, scanning is something that you can do in Metastock, but it also allows you to test a trading idea against a stock or multiple stocks. It allows you to get real-time alerts on a chart. If you're a member of our real-time software, you actually get some of the best news on earth. We used to be owned by Thomson Reuters. Now we're an independent company, but we also provide their news as part of our research services. And That's actually a pretty big deal. If you're familiar with Reuters, well, then you would know that they're about a $19 billion a year company, and 90% of that is selling their news to institutions and to brokers and stuff like that. So if you like news, Reuters is a great place, and we're a great place to get Reuters, I guess is what I'm saying there. And then it also does forecasting. It allows you to forecast trading ideas and that kind of stuff. So I would encourage you to take a look at it. There's a reason that it's been rated #1 in its price category every year since 1992. It's a great software program. It's also, on a personal note, a great company to work for. So got that little blurb out of the way. And if you decide you want to try CPS, I'm going to let you try Metastock as part of that for free. The rates on Metastock start at about $59 a month. They go up from there, but it's a very, very inexpensive software program. Okay. Bob S. asked a question, do you offer Thomson Reuters Icon? We actually offer a program called Metastock Zenith. Metastock Zenith is a white label of Thomson Reuters Icon. So, kind of is the answer to that question. So if you're interested in Icon, the difference is you can't be a professional. We can't sell you if you are managing other people's money or work for a bank or a hedge fund. But we also have a significant price advantage if you're a retail trader looking to get Icon. So, Bob, that's a really, really good question. Yeah, we do offer Icon, and it's part of our Metastock RT. And if you have questions about that, you can give us a call. We can send you all kinds of information. Let's see. Let me just type in the number here. Right here, it's 1-800-882-3040. Reuters Icon, Harry, is the only reason I even brought that up is a product that Reuters built. They built it a few years ago. They've spent well over $1 billion on it. They designed it to compete head-to-head with Bloomberg, so they sell it to their institutional clients. We're next to Thomson Reuters company. We white label their product. We call it Metastock Zenith, and it's pretty much says Icon all over it. Ahmed asked what time frame. Usually with kind of the trading that I do, Ahmed, I'm looking at a daily and a weekly chart. But generally, the position that I've been in right now, I've been in for about 3 weeks. I've modified it a few times, but I'm not really trading terribly frequently simply because I work a lot. Okay. All right, let's get to the product a little bit. I'm going to go ahead. So there's the list of identified patterns. I think it's about 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 20. 20, and we basically kind of built these. And so when you apply Steve's studies to the chart, they're going to automatically label all of those things. You can scan for all of these. They're broken down in these categories as scanning, things you can scan for. And let me just show you how these are integrated into the software. I don't like to spend a lot of time in PowerPoint. I think it's a very, very dull way. Here is a chart, though, of Dow on a weekly basis. Okay. And I've got a few charts that are open that I'm going to show to you today, but I just want to get you an idea of how the product works. So what I've got here, this is Dow on a weekly basis. By applying Steve's template, it already automatically applies all of his indicators. It applies his stochastic oscillator at the bottom, and it also, you'll notice, is identifying all these patterns for you. So whatever patterns it finds on the chart, just a few weeks ago you had this left-right bullish combo, followed by a slow curve, followed by an incredible up move in the Dow. The market's just been, I hope you guys have been trading this year. It's been an incredible environment for that. But it'll automatically identify these, so you can kind of go see where these formed on a chart. Again, this is a weekly chart. You can apply this to any template, and it's going to label and identify them for you. And this is automatically. So whatever of those 20 patterns that were on that screen are going to automatically be shown on the screen. One of the other things that I like about Metastock is you'll see right here we had a slow curve. If you're new to Steve's methodologies, or you kind of want a little bit of a refresher in terms of what that slow curve meant, you can actually go in and the software will tell you. So what I'm going to do is right up here at the top, you've got the view. I'm going to go ahead and open up our expert commentary. And this is a window that they call it a dockable window. I can put this on the side of the chart, and it just kind of maintains the side of the chart. It stays out of the way of the chart. And I can kind of move this, this back and forth. You'll see there's a little bit of an arrow. That means right now this is the bar that this commentary is analyzing. So there's not really a pattern on this particular day. So it's not really telling you a lot. It's just basically telling you a little bit about the system, a little bit about Steve Bigelow, and giving you a little bit of a legal disclaimer. If I wanted to go see, though, what it would tell us on the slow curve day, if I just kind of put that arrow above the slow curve, it'll tell us a slow curve produces a long trading opportunity as the slow upward curve receives support from the T-line, which is the 8 exponential moving average. You can enter on this. You want to exit on any price close back below the T-line. Okay? The specific criteria that created this alert are, and we kind of give you what we're looking for. We're looking for prices that are pushing up towards a resistance level. We're looking for a slow curving that appears to be consolidating from 5 to 15 days. And we're looking for the slow line to be slowly curving up. Positions can be bought as this slow upward trend progresses. So depending on the pattern that we're looking at, we're going to tell you exactly what we're trying to find here. And in some case, like if I come over to this left-right bullish combo, it's going to kind of give us exactly what it's looking for as part of that trading signal. Okay. Now, if I go down a little bit, on a lot of these patterns, what you're going to do, or what you're going to find is you'll run a scan and you might have a lot of left-right bullish combos. And so what we've put on some of these patterns is enhancements, things that you'll look for that makes the pattern better. In other words, how can I judge this pattern to find the best left-right bullish combos according to what Steve would recommend? Okay. In this particular case, if we're looking for the best left-right bullish combo, what we're going to be looking for is the bigger the bullish engulfing signal, the more powerful the new uptrend will be. And we're also looking for the signal to occur at a major technical level, like a moving average, a trend line, a Fibonacci number, something along that line. So that's how the commentary works. There's a few questions coming in. I'm going to go ahead and kind of come to them as best as I can. Are your patterns identified over several days? Yes, most of them take several days to kind of form, like this slow curving days. It's actually looking for a period, like it says, of 5 to 15 trading days. Okay. So hopefully that answers your questions. They're coming in kind of fast. Suppose CPS has a has a pattern labeled on the chart. If you click on that, you get a yes, you do. I guess I showed you that already. Does the explanation include the needing context? That's a really good question, and I don't know that I think so. What I did was I took a lot of the materials that Steve provided, and what I wanted to do was kind of make it very, very concise, just so that you weren't reading a book while you're trying to make a decision, but including the necessary context. And hopefully I hit that as a goal. I think I did, and so I'm going to answer yes. Randy says, may I add, those who like trading stocks with options, I'm able to scan only optional stocks with them. Okay. Well, Randy, I'm glad you're using it. It is a really well-liked product. We showed it. A lot of you are giving testimonials, and maybe I missed a few of them, but it is one of them. Like we did a big, huge online event a few weeks ago. Maybe it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. It was several weeks ago, and we demonstrated quite a few products. And one of the people on there gave a really glowing. He's like, I love Steve Bigelow's product because it actually works and it gives me really, really good patterns. So appreciate that. Bill, I do think our identification of the fry pan is very, very good when they show up. Okay. Volume analysis does not come into the recognition patterns at all. As far as I remember, it's been a little bit since. Gwen asks a question, do you need a trading platform for Metastock? Well, Gwen, to answer that question, no. Well, I mean, you need a broker, but you can use your broker. The nice thing is that we're not a broker, so you can use whoever you want. What we've been always specialized in is developing tools that people use, and will help them find the right trades at the right time. And so you can use any brokerage that you want. Okay. I want to show you a couple of other examples, some things that I find interesting lately. Let's go ahead and here's one I'm looking at. I haven't bought this. I am looking at buying this, so there's a little bit of a disclaimer right now. This is Disney. Okay, and this is a daily chart. And I just want to kind of show you, there's been a lot of talk about Disney, probably because it's moved up such dramatically. If you had been following Disney for the last several months during this upward move, let's just look at the patterns that come in. I'm just going to scroll out a little bit. So here you had a fry pan bottom. Okay. Here you had a bull kicker, a left-right bullish combo, and then it started to take off. If you missed this as an opportunity, you had a bull kicker and another fry pan bottom right here, followed by a bull kicker. Here is a little bit of a bear kicker. Again, if you're trading with the T-line as your exit, this isn't going to be, you're going to lose a little bit of money sometimes. But it's been a great chart. Here we just barely had a fry pan bottom, so there's several that are actually identified on this chart. And here's what the commentary says, because we had that question about the fry pan bottom. This bullish trading pattern captures the psychology behind the price movement as a slow rounding bottom illustrates indecisive trading. As the pattern approaches the same level where it began, the trader's sentiment is hinting at a favorable bias to the upside. Watching for any any breakout indicators such as a gap up, large bullish candle, or a belt hold creates an alert that it's time to go long. And again, you'll want to exit on any trading that closes below the trajectory breakout of the rounding bottom formation. So again, what we're trying to do is give you that context-sensitive information that you're asking about. Like, okay, should I buy this thing? When should I get out? When should I look to buy? Well, you look to buy when you see a breakout indicator. It's like a gap up or a large bullish candle or a belt hold, something like that. That'll be your alert to go long. And then you'll look to exit that when this happens. So I tried to make this as identical and as specific as I could. Okay. So let me go ahead, a couple more examples. Let's go ahead and look at Google. This one I'm actually looking at. Okay. Again, with Google, a little bit of a noisier stock. Here you've got, though, some really good patterns. Just had a bull kicker today, and I think if it kind of gives me a bullish pattern, or a bull kicker yesterday, I think if I see a penetration of this high, I'd go ahead and take that as a long position. Let's go ahead and look at another favorite, Apple, and then I'm going to show you how the scanning works. Okay, Apple. With Apple, I just wanted to kind of show you how well the last pattern. Look at this slow curve. Again, here you had a doji at the top. There was no follow-through on that. But this, again, here you had a bit of a slow curve, and there was plenty of follow-through on that since that happened. So it's a really, really good product at helping identify when those stocks are about to start to move in a nice trend. Again, one of my favorites. Let me show you how scanning works. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our Power Console. Right here, if you click on the Exploration tab, so this is the Charting tab. This is where you can open up any of the charts that you want. Here's the Scanning tab, and we're going to talk quite a bit about scanning. I'll just kind of walk. It's very, very simple, very straightforward to run a scan. You can also do system testing and forecasting. Testing is the ability to test trading ideas to see what works in the marketplace. We've got a wonderful system tester in Metastock. And this is our patent pending forecaster, which we won't discuss today, but it's a very, very cool tool that does a lot of statistical analysis. So in the Power Console, you'll notice there's kind of two panes. I'm just going to walk you through this. It's fairly straightforward. Right here, I'm going to just kind of, in this upper pane right here, these are the scans that are available for you. Okay, everything in Bigelow is called CPS. There's the Doji Dynamite, and if I hover over it, it's going to basically tell you what it's going to look for. So if I put a check mark here, it's going to run a scan on what I select in the bottom for any dojis at the top, doji best friend, left right bullish, left right bearish, series of doji, etc. You guys can read. If I hover over J-hook, that's going to look for my fry pan bottoms and my J-hook patterns. If I do the power signals, that's going to give me the bearish kickers, the bullish flutter kicks, the bearish flutter kickers, and then there's price patterns. This universe and this universe oversold are just some pre-filter scans. Basically, they look for stocks that have a certain price and volume type of criteria. They're part of a bonus download that we give away freely for anybody that owns the CPS product, but it allows you to say, okay, well, I want to go ahead and look at the ones that have minimum price and volume requirements. The universe oversold looks at those same price and volume requirements, but in addition, it requires that they also be oversold. So they're a scan you can run, let's say, once every 3 months or so. Get a list of all the stocks that fit the price and volume criteria, and only scan the results of that on a daily basis to find the patterns. Now, you'll notice I can put a check mark in all of these if I want to. I can run all 4 of these scans at once. And you're certainly welcome to do that. I'm just going to run one just for the point of illustration and to keep things moving a little bit faster today. Okay. One of the things that's really, aside from the fact that we offer the Reuters news and information, one of our benefits, major benefits with Reuters is the breadth of data that they offer. What I mean by that is if you look here, we literally have, right now I could scan against anything that I'm interested in. Reuters lists 380,312 stocks. Some crazy universe. Now I said stocks, I said that wrong. That includes stocks, that includes futures, that includes equities, indices, mutual funds, ETFs, you name it. It's going to be able to find that. So if you like Steve's work and you want to be able, but you live in Europe and you want to be able to scan, let's say, London Stock Exchange, or if you live in Asia and you want to scan, say, the Australian Stock Exchange, you'll be able to do that. If you click down here, you can actually expand any of the lists, and you'll just notice that the coverage is amazing. They have 191 exchanges that they cover. Last time I counted, it's probably more than that now. But no matter what you're looking at, you're going to be able to find it, or what you're looking for, you're going to be able to find it, unless it's Jamaica Stock Exchange. That's the one exchange I've come across that Reuters doesn't offer. So if there's one of you that wants the Jamaican Stock Exchange, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. Everything else I've been able to find in here. If you're in North America, like they were saying earlier, like the gentleman was saying earlier, if I would just want to scan the ETFs, I like to trade a few ETFs myself, but not too many, like Dow, SPY, that kind of stuff, those ETFs. But if you wanted to scan all of the ETFs, you could just put a check mark right here, and then it's going to scan through all the ETFs for you. Again, since we've got the Doji Dynamite patterns, it's going to be looking for like Doji Best Friends, left-right bullish combos, etc., etc., etc. If I just wanted to do all the optionables, I love options with Steve's. I think it works really good with Steve's patterns. 4,375 optionables right now. I can put a check mark there. It will go ahead and load the optionables, and I can scan against that. Okay. You also have the Toronto, that kind of stuff. There are also breakdowns here. There's also futures. There's also South America. There's also indexes. But if I wanted to scan the S&P 500, which is what I'm going to do, I can click right here and I can come down into index constituents, and I just scroll down a little bit till I find the S&P 500. Put a little check mark in there, and I'm just going to scan those at 500 stocks. Okay. If you want to do sectors and industries, we do have all the sectors and industries as defined by Thomson Reuters, so you can't go in there and say, well, I think beverages look good, or I think banking looks like it's going to go up. You could just scan financials here, and it'll scan all the, or banking, it'll scan all the banking stocks for you, or all the financials as well. Okay, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do just the S&P 500. So right here, I'm going to leave this set at load minimum records. I'm going to scan the current date. Now, if you don't want to scan the current date or the current time, you want to go back like 4 or 5 months and see what would have come up on a result, so you can kind of do some forward walk-through testing. You can actually put any date that you want in here. I'm going to use the current date. Okay. And what I'm going to do is right here I can select the periodicity. I'm going to go ahead and choose daily. And this will allow us to find any patterns that actually formed today. To start that scan, I just go ahead and start the exploration. It usually takes about 2 or 3 minutes to run. Not a big deal. I had to run it though, just to kind of keep things moving on pace. And out of this S&P 500, this is kind of the report that I got back today. Okay. So right here we've got the instrument name. It's Western Digital. This is the only thing out of the 505 stocks that are in the S&P 500 that actually came back with a result. It was the Western Digital code. Okay. Normally you're going to see more than this. Today it's only one. But again, Instead of looking at 500 stocks, now I'm looking at one stock. It's just and I can tell what pattern it is if I look at the columns here. This is doji at the top. There's a 0. That means that pattern didn't show up. Doji best friend, that's a 0. That pattern. Left-right bullish. This was a left-right bearish pattern. It happened today on Western Digital. The symbol is WDC. So let's go ahead and open up that. Okay. I'll go ahead and click on close this out. Okay. And you'll notice I've already applied this particular methodology to the chart. You can kind of see what the patterns have looked like historically. Here's our left-right bearish combo today. Wow, that's not a bad looking pattern. Closed right at or below the T line. I'm going to say right at. I'm going to open up the data window. I'm actually kind of curious about this one. So this is a bit of a data window. I'm going to just highlight over here. We'll make it a little bit bigger. This is also a dockable window. Let's just dock it over here. Okay. So the 76.35 was the T line. The close was just barely below the T line. Okay. Go ahead and close that data window. I was kind of curious. So it just closed barely below the T line. We're getting a left-right combo bearish. Okay. Again, here's a little bit of an explanation of what this pattern is. Okay. Here's the criteria. Here's the enhancements. Now that's a pretty big bearish candle. Tomorrow what I'd be looking for is for it to stay below the T line and then open below the T line. And I would say that's a very, very good looking signal. Knowing Steve, obviously what you'd be looking for as a stop is actually kind of a cross above the T line. I hope you can hear the vacuum. The janitor's coming through. So that's it in a nutshell. Very, very easy product to use. It does come with a training video, like a boot camp that helps you, it's me walking you through how the patterns work, how they're identified, that kind of stuff. But it's a very, very comprehensive platform, and that's how it works. Okay, so let's go back to this. Again, what's included is the 4 explorations that I showed you, the expert advisor, the layout that puts everything together for you, and the identification of those 20 different patterns. Okay, oh, I had it right here. Again, this is one multiple times as one of the best add-ons in stocks and commodities. It's been available for a few years. Very, very well-loved product. I'm really glad we built it because I use it every day. And it's been very, very popular among our base as well as Steve's customers. So I'd encourage you to try it out. I don't think we charge enough for it, to be frank. And normally, if you just order it off our website, it's $499. That's a one-time cost. It's $399 if you buy it as a result of the webinar today. As part of that, what we're going to do is we're going to include access to Metastock if you need it. We'll include access to Metastock Zenith, which is the Thomson Reuters icon white label that you guys were asking about earlier. We're going to include Steve's bonus explorations and also a boot camp that I recorded that will help you get everything configured. And I know traders like a low-risk opportunity. If you try this out and you don't like it for any reason, if you contact us within 30 days, we'll turn everything off for you and give you a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. I won't say it's no questions asked. I'm going to walk that back a little bit. We're going to ask you why you didn't like it, and that's just so that we can kind of get that information. Because it's feedback. It's valuable for us. Okay. You can order online. You can visit us at metastock.com/candlestickforuma. You can give us a call at 800-882-3040. We do have a guy on the phone right now, so you're welcome to call if you have more questions about like what icon is or kind of that kind of stuff. And you can also visit us online at metastock.com/saleschat. Okay. So that's what I had. I want to thank all of you for coming. A great group tonight. Do you guys have any last questions for me? Randy says, may I add, those who like trading, oh, I already read that one. I love the scanning in Metastock, and I love the fact that you can do just optionable. It works really, really good. Thanks, Randy. I really appreciate the compliment. All right, then. Oh, I need to scroll down. I'm not seeing current questions. KB asks, how much is the monthly subscription if I continue? It's $59 a month for the hourly update version of Metastock. So that's what we call the Metastock daily chart version. So it starts at $59 and it works out from there. Sorry that I wasn't seeing the questions. I was wondering if I had explained everything perfectly. Let's run that scan. Sure, I'll run the scan for you. The other thing that I like about Metastock is the way it's designed. You'll notice it's still got exactly the same scan I ran last time selected. So if I'm running the same scan every day, I just have to click the Start Exploration button and it's going to go ahead and run the scan for me. So we'll go ahead and let that run. I'll answer a few questions. It is a little bit slower when I run it online while I'm broadcasting audio, just because it's network intensive to do all of those things. So the T line is the 8-period exponential moving average. What key must be held to do multi-scans? No keys have to be held at all. All you do is just check mark each of the scans you want to run. Okay. Harry says, did you say daily Metastock includes hourly data? It updates hourly. So every hour you can kind of go in there and see what the market is doing that day. It only does daily charts, like weekly charts, monthly charts, that kind of stuff. And it's only $59 a month, but it does update during the day. So, and the fact that it updates hourly is really, really cool, because now if you're using DC and you want to run a scan, okay, so the report's done, okay, and then you can just click on this button to click see the reports. It's the same report I just showed you. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Oh, so you can go in at any point in the day if you just want to see something that's maybe forming a pattern and get in before the close. You can run the scan on the last hour of the day and then enter a trade that way if you want to. So very, very cool that they now include hourly updates in that product. $59 on up, like the real-time packages can cost about $250 a month. But there's even cheaper ways to do that. So I'd recommend, if you're interested in real-time or you kind of want to get a good idea of what it will cost you, just give us a call, 1-800-882-3040. They can talk to you about what you're trading and what you want to do and come up with the best price point for you. Let's see. There was a question from Ty. Peter asked a question, is it possible to scan for weekly MACD buys and sells? You better believe it is. It is a built-in scan. If I come back in here and go to the scanner, there's one in here that's called Equus MACD. There's a lot of built-in systems. The Equus MACD is built in as well. But if you come to Equus MACD, it will look for buy and sell signals based on the MACD cross. And you can also create your own scans. And it's fairly easy to do, but you can actually say, well, I want to be able to scan for when MACD does this, plus volume does this, plus this and this. It's a very, very customizable platform. Ty, if I miss a question, it might be best to repost it. I'm going to go look for your question, okay? Ty. Can you scan Forex, and does it work with Forex? Okay, I found it. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. If you look right here, one of the Forex is a whole category in and of itself. Forex. Right here, what we've got is we've got the major pairs, because Reuters has like all of the pairs. Like it covers 368 pairs. And if you come in here, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you're probably not interested, like the Ruby and Florin. So if you just want to run a scan against the major pairs, well, here's the 36 major pairs, and you can just run a scan against that. Of course, if you're interested in something kind of weird, like the Albanian lek, you can actually look at it. It is available through Reuters. It isn't just a few Forex platforms. The Explorer, yeah, you're right. It does look like handcuffs. I didn't design that logo, but now that you say that, I see it. You bet, Chan. Fabian, that's exactly correct. If you go to metastock.com/candlestick4A, I'll show you. It's $290. Oh, is it $299? Is it $299? I might have actually. If we charge them $299 for this thing, number one, I need to update our platform, my pricing. And number two, we are really giving you a value there. So $100 off, and I bet you're right, $2.99. So it's not $3.99, it's $2.99. What a bargain! Give it a go. Now what you'll do, okay? Now since we're already on this page, what you'll do is you'll click on this Steve Bigelow Candlestick Profit System. If you click on Daily Charts, it's going to give you a free trial of the Daily Chart version. If you click on Real Time, it's going to give you a Real Time. It'll help you configure this as well, and you'll just click on Order Now, and it'll help you get everything set up. So very easy. If you're already a Metastock user, just don't select the Metastock option. Click on Order Now, and it'll help you get it going. Okay. I'd like to use the weekly MACD. I think your answer was Peter says. I'm glad you asked the question, the follow-up question, Peter. Thank you for that. This is the Equus MACD. Okay, so this will scan for buys and sells on a daily chart with a daily MACD. If I change this over to weekly, it's going to do a weekly chart with a weekly MACD. And so I believe that that is kind of like what you're looking for. If not, clarify. Fabian asked another good question. Is this something that's run through a browser? Is this a download? It's a download. It's definitely a program, especially as you start to kind of dive into our the functionality of Metastock, like the forecaster and all the statistical analytics that it's doing. It's not something that's powerable through a browser yet. It's getting there though. So, but it is a download program. It's a program that you run on your desktop, and it does require Windows. Which means, going back to that Mac question, we do have a lot of customers that are successful using on the Mac, but they do it through Boot Camp. We did record it for you, Ben. I'm sorry you're a little bit late, but we did record it, and we will, as long as you register, send you a recording. Bob asked another good question. Can I download it one time, or can we download it on multiple devices? That's the answer to that is you can install it on as many machines as you want, and you can use it on one machine at a time. Fabian, that should work for you through Parallels. Bob, thank you. And if you guys need anything, I don't think I put a slide of this together, but if you're, if you have questions for me, or if there's anything I can do to help, email me. It's just jeffrey.gibby@metastock.com. I am on the road. I'm going up to Portland tomorrow. I'm going to do an in-person class in Portland and Denver this weekend. So give me a little bit of extra time to get back to you, but I definitely will respond. All right, guys. Any questions that I missed? Because I know there was a bunch there that I didn't see. If you have another question that you want me to answer before I jump off, just type it in. Bill L. asks for, I don't have a recommended Forex broker, David. I actually use TD Ameritrade for my broker, but I do stocks and options. I understand I'm overpaying for it, but I really like their mobile app. So, Haguro Weeklies is a whole another ball of wax. And yes, I actually, the Haguro stuff I put together with a friend of mine down in Australia, and you can, if you can, it's a whole different subject, but there is a Haguro scan in here. It's part of 15. It's included for free. So if you sign up, you'll get it. And we scan for the candle 3, and the midpoint cross. Okay. We also look for a candle 3 that has plus or minus 7% range. I'm curious, Bill, did you find out about Haguro through some of the webinars we did? Bill, I like the Haguro stuff. It was some stuff that we put together for, yeah, again, my buddy Gary Burton. It was based on the work of Siki Shimizu. It's very interesting methodology. And we just put it together and offered it to people for free. I sent a copy over to the late Dennis Peterson, which was a buddy of mine over at Stocks and Commodities, and had him review it. He loved it. I liked it so much that we just decided to include it with every meta stock that goes out. So. Harry says the stock symbol may be at the top of your chart, but it is very blurry for me to read. I'll ask, is that, Harry, is that on your metastock or is that just when we're broadcasting the chart? Because for me, I can see it pretty good on my own window. But if you want us to make that bigger, I'll put in a suggestion for you. Steve asked another question. Can you scan for normal candle patterns, like the hammer, that kind of stuff? Yes, you can. In fact, I'll just show you this because it's kind of cool. We're going all over the place today, guys. I'm going to attach a little bit of a different expert to the chart. It's called the Equus candlesticks. Okay. Now this is unlike Steve's product. This just scans for single day, or this just shows you single day patterns. Like, well, I'll just attach it. Close it. So if I attach this to the chart, we had a big black candle. Yesterday we had a long lower shadow, a big white candle, a big white candle. You can see that it's identifying, I think it's about 30 single day patterns. And as was with the commentary, that was you noticed it popped up an alert because we had something today. It tells you a little bit about that candle. So if you're searching for the meaning of candles, right here it's going to look at all those Japanese single, excuse me, I got the hiccups. I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee and hopefully that'll help the hiccups. I drink water, but I don't have it in here. But this will identify all the patterns, a lot of the single day patterns for you, tell you what they mean, and you can scan for these fairly easily as well. So to answer that question, yes. Okay, so just this webinar. Okay, fair enough. I've heard that from other webinars as well, and I can't say that I disagree with you. I was curious to see if it was too small for you in a metastock installation. So, George, what's my favorite scanning system? I use CPS every day. So, and the patterns that I like is the Doji Best Friend. It's a very good one, and then the fry pan bottom, and the kickers are not too bad either. It's Fabian, the daily is updated every hour, starting an hour and a half after the open. All right, guys. I'm gonna go spend a little bit of time with my kids, and then I'm gonna go over to Portland. Thanks for coming. I put my email address out there earlier. If you have questions, if I can help you. My wife loves this saying. It's a great one. I know Steve at one point, and I think the reason I kind of started to gravitate to that one is I was traveling with Steve. I think we were in Pennsylvania, and he said, this is one of my favorite patterns. It says Goji Best Friend. So I hear you, brother. All right, guys. That's it for me. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys at the next one, and thanks for coming in. Again, if there's anything I can, let me put the information up here again. And again, it's not $4.99. It's actually $2.99. A little bit of attention to detail for me. We'll still give you all the bonuses, though. Metastock.com/candlestick4MA, or you can call 800-882-3040, or visit us if you have questions you want to chat about, metastock.com/saleschat.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I highly recommend Metastock. The only thing I could say bad about Metastock is it's got so much good stuff on it, you'll never get to use it all. You could spend many hours just investigating all the information and techniques, technical analysis indicators they've got on their system. So, and the best thing about their software, I'd say the best thing about their software, one of the great things about their software is if you ever have a problem or a question, you just call customer service, and they are probably the best customer service system in the investment community. So with that, Jeff, have fun in Portland. Everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms.